Hey, it's Byron Morrison here. And if you're anything like the CEO clients that I work with, then I'm guessing that time is one of your biggest challenges. And I get it completely because when you're running a company and you have so many responsibilities, it can feel like there's never enough minutes in the day. Well, in this video, I want to talk to you about why a lack of time may not actually be your problem, what is, and how you can overcome it. To put this into perspective for you, I want to tell you a story about a recent client I've been working with. You see, when we started working together a few weeks ago, he came to me at a point in his business where they were going through a period of explosive growth. Things were taking off and his vision was turning into reality. Yet, with this new level of success, he found himself in a situation where he was facing a new level of problems. Because on top of focusing on growth, he also had to lead and manage a team. He had to keep stakeholders happy. He had to pitch to investors and overlook the day-to-day operations, which was a huge amount to stack on top. And understandably, he was feeling overwhelmed by all of it. And when we started working together, in order to try and catch up with everything, he was working 50 to 60-hour weeks, and he just couldn't stay on top of it. He said to me he felt like he was running backwards on a treadmill, never able to catch up. When we really sat down and we broke down what was actually going on, though, what I found was because he had so many different things going on in his head and so many things to do, he was spending his days bouncing around from one task to the next. He'd often find himself in an analysis paralysis, overthinking and struggling to make decisions. And even though he knew what he should be doing, he'd procrastinate and put things off because he was on this roller coaster ride of ups and downs and just trying to keep everything together. And that was why, at the end of the day, he still had so many things that needed to be done, meaning he'd regularly have to skip workouts, he'd have to cancel date night with his wife, and he'd have to work late into the evening to try and catch up, making him understandably think that he had a time problem when, in reality, he actually had an effectiveness problem. To put this into perspective for you and the reason why, I want you to take a moment and think of your old laptop computer. I bet when you got it, it worked really fast. It was great at managing everything that you needed to, and it could get the job done. Yet, over time, its memory wasn't as good as it used to be. It would have difficulty managing multiple tasks at any one time, and if you put too much stress and pressure on it, it would crash and stop working. Well, what most people don't realize is our brains work in exactly the same way. And this is exactly why this client was struggling, because he was trying to deal with this new level of problems with an outdated internal operating system. And this is why execution that was once confident had become stalled. It was why he was overthinking and struggling to make decisions, and why he was on this roller coaster ride of ups and downs, because he didn't have the internal bandwidth in order to deal with it. And that was the reason why, even though he was working 60-hour weeks, when we really broke it down, he was actually only getting about 15 hours of productive and effective work done that really mattered. And that's why I want you to take a moment and I want you to be honest with me. If you're finding yourself facing a challenge of always running out of time and there never being enough minutes in the day, be honest with yourself. How effective are you actually being with your time? How much time was lost last week to busy work, to putting things off, or focusing on tasks that really didn't matter and weren't moving you towards your goal? Because when we have the time to really reflect on that, chances are there's going to be a lot of lost time in between that can be put to far better use. And this is why, if we go back to the laptop computer example, when it started to stall and it wasn't as effective as it used to be, what did you need to do? You needed to upgrade it, to evolve it so it could handle these new levels of problems. And that was why with this client, what we set about doing was up-leveling his way of thinking so we could open up new thought pathways that would give him the mental capacity to tap into his full potential. It was by doing this that we were able to get him to stop bouncing around from one task to the next, to have the clear-headed focus and ability to prioritize on what actually needed to be done. It was how we put an end to the analysis paralysis, to instead give him the confidence to execute it without overthinking. And it was how we got him off that roller coaster ride of emotions. So instead of crumbling to the stress and pressure, he had the cool, calm-headed focus to deal with the challenges that were coming his way. This is how we're going to evolve, upgrade, and adapt to deal with the new levels of problems. And because of it, he's able to be far more effective with his time. He's no longer running around like a headless chicken. He's able to get things done and actually balance his business and his goals with the other areas of his life. And that's why I really want to go back to my original question and statement from the start of this video. And I really want you to be honest with yourself. Do you have a shortage of time problem, or do you have a time effectiveness problem? Are you really consistently taking the actions that you need to take at your full potential every single week? Or is that potentially what may be holding you back? If what I've spoken to you about in this video resonates with you and you think that actually it's you who needs to evolve as a CEO to become more effective, then I've put together a video breaking down the 4-step process I use with all of my private clients to up-level their way of thinking so they can perform at a higher level. And if you want to check it out, just type video in the comments below and I'll reach out on Messenger and send it across to you. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. What are your biggest takeaways? What did you learn about yourself? And what do you need to do in future to make sure that you're far more intentional with your time? I've been Byron Morrison. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.